Hello everyone, welcome back to day 6 of GCSE IGCSE preparation. I'm Nishi from ISTEM Education, and in this session I'm going to explain you everything about Python comparison operator. We also refer it as Python relational operator. What I will be covering for you in this session is all about from exam point of view, very important. What are the core comparison operators? What are the exam traps where a student face difficulties? Variable comparison, how do we compare two variable? User input, logics, how do we take input and then compare? Some of the important exam questions and the common pitfall as per the exam pattern. Moving forward, I will be explaining you as well as I always do in my session. I'll show you the code working. If you want to try the code parallelly with me watching these videos, you can pause the video, try the code going to online Python on web, type the code, run it and check, because until and unless you don't do by yourself, if I'll keep on doing, it's just my practice, right? So you have to try doing to understand it and remember it for a long time. So the thing is, why operator matters for the exam, why it is important. The relational operator or comparison operator, as we say, relation means relation between two of the objects or two of the values. That's what kind of relation? A comparison relation, whether it's a greater or less, equals or not equal. Basically, if I look, it is very important when we use if statement, okay, which is the core of selection in the programming. If is also called a selection statement. Many times this is called, comes an exam, what is selection statement? So one more question you got. All selection is if a statement, iteration is for, okay. Frequently also appears in trace table, which is one of the very important. Mostly it is asked for 5 marks, where you must track Boolean result accurately. Boolean result means result in the form of true or false. Very easily you will score 1 or 2 or 3 marks. Hardly minimum 1 marks question is for sure there. Maximum of 3 marks, including some other questions. There is also, it is implemented as I mentioned in if statement and trace tables. That is additionally, but direct question will be there from this topic for 1 to 3 marks. One of the point we will be discussing, many students get confused between single equals and double equals, which is, as per my experiences, if I say, each year this question had been there in one or other form, sometime in algorithm, sometime in pseudocode, or sometime directly. Okay, so do not leave. Do watch this video till the end to understand everything in details. The video is going to be very short. You don't need to spend much time for revising this topic. But if you want to know a detailed video, or if you want to learn it in details, if you want to learn from me, do comment out so that I can understand your pain point, I can understand where you are facing problem, and I will be explaining, I will be giving you explanation on that particular thing. Once I move here, these are some of the common operators, okay? Double equals, not equals, greater, less, greater than equals, less than equals. Now many students get confused between greater sign and less than sign. The greater sign is something like the value. If I mention the sign, why I'm referring it as a greater? Because the broader side is at the left side, okay? Means the value, if you, I'm trying to write, if I say 5 is greater than 2, I'm referring 5 is greater than 2. If I write it like this, 5 less than 2. So this starting space is closed, so it is less than. That is a trick you can remember, okay? Though the same, greater equals, less than equals. Now, assignment operator. Single equals is referred as assignment operator. In maths also we know this, but we just refer it as equals operator, right? Equal symbol. But in Python it is called assignment operator. Double equals is comparison operator. Now understand what's the difference. When I say x equals 5, it means you are assigning one value to x, one variable which is labeled as x, and 5 is stored inside it. Basically it is used for storing value in any of the variable, okay, or when you take user input and you store it into one particular variable. Next one is double equals. When I say x equals 5, it means I'm trying to compare the value of x with 5, and value of x may be anything. Value of x is 4, or if I say value of x will be 5, so if it is 5 and if you try to print this particular thing, if you write the print a statement like this, it will return true. Why it will return true? Because it's correct, isn't it? My x value is 5 and I'm saying x is equals 5, means I'm comparing this right value with the left one. Got it? So one is assignment operator, second is comparison operator. The difference comes in exam. What's the difference between these two operators? So you have to simply explain that it is used to store a value into a variable. This does not compare the value. Wherein double equals is used to compare the value, simply comparing, like if I say 4 equals 5, it is not equals. If you print this statement, it will return false. Getting? We'll do this. So let's come to the next thing. Not equals is always written as exclamation mark equals. This is a symbol of not equals, okay? Here it is not printed, just it is marked in a pen. When I say print, print should be lowercase always, okay? Do not do this mistake. Print encoding is always written in lowercase. Print 10 not equals 5. In GCSE or IGCSE, this particular question had been asked. So when I say 10 is not equals, it means something you are trying to say, that print what is the value. It is comparing 10 with 5 and it says true because I have been mentioning the operator not equals. So 10 is not equals to 5. My statement is true. Output will be true. Greater than, just when I write greater than, it's the symbol. Less than, it's the symbol. Rest of the symbol I will be displaying, but let me take you to the Visual Studio Code and I'll just try doing this particular code for all of them. Double equals, less than equals, and how. See, one thing is you can create a variable or you can take user input. I'll do it all ways. So for one value, let me take this as a lowercase. X equals any value you can say, suppose 5. I'm assigning 5 to x. Second, y I'll take input from the user. Now see, I have to mention in input, as this I have covered in day 2 probably, or day 3. You can watch my previous videos. How to take input from the user. When do we mention int and why do we mention int? Int is basically for the integer. Int input, enter your number, okay, some space. Now one number is already stored as a static value. Second, I'm taking from the user, so user may enter anything. The third one, I will just simply compare both of them. So one thing, let's see what happens if I mention single equals. X equals y. As I mentioned, this is assignment operator and we cannot use it for comparison. Let me run my code. It says enter your number. I'll enter 5 itself. Okay. Now I'm pressing enter. It gives you error, type error, print got an unexpected keyword argument X. It's not getting. Now when I put just double equals here, computer will understand that, okay, the code is correct and I have to do the comparison. Let me clear my terminal. Enter your number. Let me enter anything. I'll enter 10. Okay. I know it's not equal, so I'm trying to print x equals y. It should say false. Something went wrong to my code. Let me check what's going wrong. Just hold on. Sometimes this happens. Enter your number. Yeah, I'm taking input as a number. Int input. Enter 10. Enter. Okay, false. There was something. Sometimes it gives you anonymous output. So not to worry about it. You can always clear the terminal and you can always try. I didn't made any changes. My code was all. So enter your number. If I enter 5, it means it's true. Okay. Now I can write more of the print statement. Let's see all of the types. If I say greater equals, now first we put greater sign and then equals sign. It's not like equals greater. As we read it from left to right, greater than equals. And the same way we write it. Don't say equals greater. It doesn't make any sense. So what I mean to say, x is greater than equals to y. I'll clear my previous. So previous input is not there. I'm entering my fresh input. Just I'll enter 10, but x is not greater or equals to 10, so it is returning false. Again, if I enter 4, x is greater because x value is 5 and I entered 4, so it says true for my second print statement, right? The second print statement. For first one it is false because I'm trying to say print x equals 5. Similarly, you can try all of the operators. Let me show you. Less than equals. Okay. For to avoid confusion, let me put comment in all this printer statement so that it doesn't execute every time I do. So x is less than equals. Okay. Also, I'll do print x is not equals to y. So if x will not be equals to y, it will print the output. Let me run this code. Enter your number. I'm trying to enter 6. So is x less than? X is less than and x is not equal. So for both the print statement, I'm getting true. So this is very, very important when we will learn conditional. Soon I'll post videos on if condition and you'll see how we are making use of it in conditional statement, like if marks is greater or equals to 70, print B grade. If marks is greater or equals to 80, print A grade. If marks is greater or equals to 90, print A star. Isn't it? So that is how you can make use of it. Let me come back to the slides for the explanation. And now if you feel that still there is confusion and you are not getting less than or greater than or this comparison operator, do let me know. Inclusive comparison, basically just the greater than is simply comparison, and as I did greater equals is inclusive comparison. What happens in greater equals, it checks for equalities as well. If I say 5 is greater than 4, okay, or 5 is greater than 5. Here 5 is not greater than 5, but when I say 5 is greater equals 5, it means I'm checking for equality as well. Equality is included. I want to purchase a pen which should cost 5 or less than 5. Okay? Means I can buy a pen for $5. Or if something is less than that, that's okay, but I cannot do beyond. That's what it is saying here. It is for greater than. So 5 is either greater than or. It's either or. Okay, that's why it's called inclusive comparison, handling boundary condition as well. This is a boundary condition. The lowest. It must have to be 5 or something more than that. Similarly, we have less than equals. Here, one of the example is given. Suppose age is assigned. Age is nothing but one variable, and we are printing age is greater equals, but age is 16, so it will give you output as in false. Got it? If you feel that any doubt is remaining from here, I can explain you in the comment box. So do comment for this. Now it's saying what we have been doing in VS Studio Code. Use input statement to take the user input, prompt the user for data. Wrap int means whenever you are taking input for comparison operator, it has to be int value. Integer value means number. Okay. We cannot compare with word. It means we cannot do comparison with a string. That's what it says. Whenever you are taking input, make sure the input is in a int form. Apply operator, any operator you can apply to the variable and see the result. Result will always display either true or false until and unless you are not making use of operator in if condition. If you are using it in if condition, what will happen? It will give you an output as you explain the print statement, that if marks is greater than 80, print A. Okay, so it will print A. Now, these are some of the common questions, like for 1 marks, once it was asked, print 10 equals 8, what will be the output? Print 7 not equals 7. 7 is equal 7, so the output will be false. You can try all of those codes by pause the video and just go to any of the ideally where you can write code and run. Then try this. Do write print a statement in another line, not in the same line. X value is 5, Y value is 10. I'm trying to print X is less than Y. True. Yes, X is less than Y. Correct. Next, this was for 3 marks. Num is equals input. Int input, print num is greater than 50. It depends what user is entering. If user enters something less than 50, suppose user entered 40, it will return you false because you are trying to say that num value is greater than 50. But if user enters suppose 60, it will return true because num value will be greater than 50, isn't it? Let's move towards. So these are some of the common exam practice questions. Do practice it for sure. Moving towards next slide, it says, what are the common mistake you all do in your GCSE, IGCSE? Make sure the slide is something which is telling your answer in advance, that this may be you who can commit this mistake and you will lose your marks even if you have studied. So make sure identify frequent error that lead to mark being deducted in paper 2 coding questions. Use of single equals assignment operator and double equals comparison operator. Sometime it is asked that what is this operator called as. So whenever it is single equals symbol, name it as assignment used for assigning the value. Double equals comparison operator. Forgetting int when taking numeric input. I have seen students writing it this statement, A is equals to input, enter your number. No, never. Enter your number. This is wrong. Whenever you write just input, by default the value is in a string. Okay, so do mention a bracket before it, and here you will put int. Okay. Third one is writing this symbol. See, I was talking about as you read it, you have to write it. It's not this, okay? It's completely wrong. It's greater equals, less equals, okay? Never write this symbol or this symbol. It's always wrong. If you run the code, you will get error. If you are writing it in your examination paper, you won't get even a single marks out of 2 or 3 marks. Accidentally comparing a string instead of numbers, okay? So make sure that comparison or relational operator we are using for comparing numbers, integer value. Although we can use double equals to compare two string values, but it has to be formatted. And formatting will cover in one session. All right, the golden rule of comparison operator is it always returns Boolean, either true or it is false if you use it in printf statement. So this is all about your relational operator or comparison operator, whatever name you remember, whatever name it is referred. Sometime it will be relational, sometime it will be comparison. Don't get confused. Make sure it is the same operator. You are now ready to tackle your GCSE, IGCSE exam. I hope you will do best to remember this chart of the symbol, all of the operator. Okay, because this is going to help you a lot. Make sure where all you will be using in if statement and trace table, 1 to 3 marks, comparison of answer. I won't take this video too long, so I'm keeping it till here. See you soon in next tutorial about some of the important concept from the Python programming. Do practice, do best in your paper too. Do not fear. Do comment out if you need help with any of the topic. Bye bye. Thank you for staying in session.